So we're signing up for salsa classes? Is
No.
that what we agreed on? 2024. Salsa every day. Eating salsa every day.
I feel like I could just learn salsa without...
You can watch a YouTube video.
I mean, isn't salsa just...
Oh, boy. Can't wait for you to show me what salsa is just. Are you just about to... What song is that? Where it's like, and reverse. Or no. What's the thing they say? I don't know. I know that's roughly it. Is it actually salsaing? You like go back and forth. Yeah.
You have to switch your feet at some point.
Yeah. what's the line dance that is like?
Cotton Eye Joe.
No. Take it back now, y'all. Oh, it says cha-cha now.
Cha-cha slide?
Cha-cha, yeah. They
What
like
about
say it and everyone does the like dun, dun, dun. Like people do basically what you were just doing in that line.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. I don't know.
I don't know either.
All right. Well, should we get started?
Yeah.
Just making sure I have this thing.
What thing?
Oh, this thing for SMSoup. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to SMSoup, the #1 podcast with soup in the name, but not on the brain. This microphone really covers my entire face.
Yeah, you kind of get used to it.
I feel like I always do that.
I always do this. I always put it right below my mouth, but then
Yeah.
it still does cover like basically my whole chin.
But I mean, I'm guessing from here it's still probably good. I just feel like I'm worried if I'm not talking into it.
Don't worry. I think your voice is going to carry.
Okay. Sounds good.
If it picks me up, it'll pick you up.
I'm Spencer.
I'm Shelby.
And together, Shelby and I are here to take you on a journey through life's biggest questions.
Like?
Oh, you would like an example?
I would love an example.
Like, what are you holding on to that's holding you back?
Oh my God. Are we in therapy? I'm holding on to...
What are you holding on to that's holding you back?
Honestly, a pair of jeans that I will literally never wear again.
Okay.
How about you?
Can you elaborate?
I just don't like jeans, you know? Like I think they need to go.
Uh-huh.
For me, obviously. They're just not comfortable. They're not, I don't love, like I hate how it feels to have them on. And I never look back and go, wow, that was worth it that I put jeans on. And they're taking up space in my closet.
And that's holding you back?
Yeah, big time.
I'm just making sure you understand that the question I asked was, what are you holding on to that's holding you back? Not what's an article of clothing that you have that maybe you shouldn't.
No, I'd say that's holding me back. Because I could have something better in my closet.
Gotcha.
What about you?
Probably my anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if
Would you say you're holding on to that?
Oh, I certainly haven't let it go. So
Feel that?
I was about to say, I don't know if I'm necessarily intentionally holding on to it, but I think that's kind of the point of the question, right? Like, what are you holding on to? You know, you have a hold of something, whether you truly want it or not.
Right.
Why aren't you just letting it go? Maybe you can't, whatever. You know.
Sure.
To go a line deeper, I guess. I don't know. It's just, I would just say my general anxiety is the main thing that holds me back.
Fair.
Do you feel like an asshole for not having a serious answer now?
No.
Cool.
My serious answer would be my
We
laziness,
also ask
but I don't
questions
regret
like, waiter, how is the soup made? No, what'd you say? Your laziness?
my laziness, but I don't regret it. I know it holds me back, but I'm not willing to let it go.
Yeah, I feel that. I don't know if yeah. Laziness definitely holds us all back. And I'm also not willing to let it go.
Mm-hmm. Precisely.
Shelby, how are you?
I'm good.
This is our second episode?
Yep. 2024.
No, that's not what I meant.
Oh, okay.
Also, it's not our second episode of 2024.
Oh, it's not. It's our third.
This is the second of 3 episodes that we have to record in a tight window, is what I was getting at.
Yes.
Just kind of making sure I'm still aligned in my head as to where we are.
Yeah. Yeah, second pre-record. Third episode of the year.
Well, whatever.
Don't mess with me.
Whatever.
I'm good. I sort of along the lines of I'm lazy, but I don't want to let it go. I'm in a bit of a fight internally where I don't want to do anything, but I know that like the rest of the world is starting to reach back to like, oh, the holidays are over. It's time to be normal again. And I'm like, no, I'm not ready. I still need to just lay around and do nothing for at least another 2 weeks. That's where I'm at. How are you?
I'm good. What are we talking about this week?
Well, I wanted to ask you a question that I would say loosely applies to the topic, but not really.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say? We both spent the whole morning somewhat just like scrolling on our phones, right? Would you be able to sit here and say what the most memorable or meaningful thing you saw was?
Let me think. There's a couple of things that stand out. I'm just trying to decide what it is that I specifically want to talk about. Man. This is going to be meaningless to most people, but I believe it was in 2019. I'd have to double check that part. Juan Soto, baseball player, posted a 7.1 B-WAR. Brett Gardner, who is not Juan Soto or on his caliber, that same year posted a 7.6. And it's basically just a whole narrative about how like there are certain statistics that people get really hung up on that are like completely meaningless.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at the rest of their years, like the only thing that Gardner was better than Soto in was stolen bases, basically. And there might have been one other thing as well. And like Juan Soto had like a 175 OPS plus. Baseball statistics with plus or minus are indicative of where you are in terms of the average. So if it's a OPS plus, you want to be above 100, and that means you are whatever you are. If you're a 114, in Soto's case, he was like a 175. He is 75 points better than
The average.
league average, which is 100. And if you're an 86, that means you're 14. Brett Gardner that same year was a 106. So like literally just, you want to see like truly like what it means. But
Right.
if you just try to look at WAR, which so many people try to just focus on, it can be a good stat. So that's pretty memorable, I would say. To go more current eventy with it, the school shooting that happened in Iowa. I don't know if you saw about that.
I didn't see.
Your
about
eyes
that.
are very wide. I believe it was in Iowa, and I apologize if I'm getting any of this wrong. And I don't know many of the details. I just know, unfortunately, we're in America, and what do you know? Another school shooting happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess Trump is campaigning right now, or he's doing like, he went and did a MAGA convention in Iowa. He did it in the, I'm almost positive he is in the state where the shooting happened, and I think it's Iowa.
Right.
Apologies if I'm getting any of that wrong. But he said that it's terrible, but we need to just get over it. or something along those lines. And that's pretty memorable. Like,
Yeah.
that's going to stick out in my head because that's probably one of the most heinous things I think you could say to any. Like, I think as a country, don't attack me. I think as a country, we need to get over 9/11. I would never say to somebody who was directly impacted by 9/11, like a family member died, they were injured in it, whatever. I would never say directly to that person, you need to get over it.
Yeah.
I don't expect that person to ever get over it. I don't expect anybody to ever truly get over the death of anybody.
Right.
That's close to them. But that's like something where I'm like, as a nation, I think we will put too much emphasis on it and be like, this is why we should just do whatever we want because 25 years ago, 23 years ago, this tragedy happened.
Right.
It's just like, but yeah, I would never say to a community that was directly impacted by something, yeah, just get over it.
Right.
So that'll stick out.
Jeez, that's crazy.
Anyway, how about you?
My God. Well, I was looking at some vegan cheese recipes and crocheting patterns.
Why'd you do this to me?
Why?
You really just set me up.
I wasn't
Sound like
trying.
a crazy person.
Wasn't trying to. I mean, I will say I spent the morning on Pinterest.
Well, that's where we differ.
That's a huge difference.
That was the problem.
Yeah.
You were on Pinterest. I was on the hellscape known as Twitter.
Yeah. I've been trying to curb some of my endless scrolling.
And I've been trying to curb your enthusiasm.
Exactly. So I've replaced scrolling on TikTok or Instagram with scrolling on Pinterest, which you might argue that's not really different. It's not, but Pinterest normally makes me want to go and do something.
Yeah, like it sparks like a good idea or something like that. Yeah,
or it's
gives you a recipe.
Yeah, exactly.
How to DIY.
I find myself leaving Pinterest faster than I would leave Instagram or TikTok. And I actually can be like, wow, I saw this thing and I want to do it, or I want to save that for later, or all of that, versus Instagram and TikTok, half the time I could not tell you what I saw or what I'm going to do based off what I saw. Yes, Spencer. Yes.
I have another thing then.
Okay, go ahead.
No, but you were going, but I just don't want to forget.
That was it.
Oh.
That was pretty much, I literally...
Vegan cheese recipes?
Vegan cheese recipes.
Are we going to try any of them?
Yeah, I think so. Not today. I don't have any of the stuff. But I'm realizing how...
What do you need, cheddar?
Easy. How easy it could be to make them. A crochet pattern that I really want to make. And I really want to try making a new pair of pants.
That's holding you back.
Get rid of those stupid jeans. And I keep looking at different shapes because I'm deciding what it is I want to try and make. That was basically all I looked at this morning. Sorry, you had another thing.
I do, yeah. And there's something else that I was going to bring up at some point, and I'm just going to do it now.
Cool.
Did you see about that Alaskan Air or Air Alaska flight where the whole window panel ripped off the plane?
No.
And allegedly, the people who were supposed to be sitting in those two seats missed their flight. Allegedly. I think they might have gotten sucked out. But who knows? People say that they missed their flight. So nobody got injured.
That's good.
Which is insane. They flew around with that wide open, which would have had to have been freezing fucking
and
cold.
Just hell to hear that
Yeah.
and be experiencing that, yeah.
I forgot how long it said before they were able to do an emergency landing.
Right.
And no injuries or anything like that.
Good.
Pretty crazy. Yeah. One, the people who missed it, apparently there's a thing called the burnt toast theory. Have you heard about this?
I've heard of it. I couldn't tell you what it was.
Basically where if you burn a piece of toast and it causes you to be 5 minutes late for work, the universe was actually helping you by burning your toast and causing you that minor inconvenience because it helped you avoid an accident on your way to work or something like that. Something along those lines. I don't know if I describe to that, but a lot of discussions about that were going on.
Sure.
But so this happening made me remember that 6 days ago, Paul Farhi on Twitter at Far Hip. That is spelled exactly how it sounds.
Okay.
At Far Hip said, astonishing and perhaps underappreciated. Number of U.S. commercial airline crashes by year. Obviously, the Alaskan Air, or I think it was Alaskan Air. Again, apologies if I'm getting these things wrong. Not an accident, like no injuries, no casualties, or anything like that, right? But so not directly the same. But anyway, number of U.S. commercial airline crashes by year. 2010. Can you guess how many?
I have no concept of
0. 2011. Guess how many?
0.
Yep. 2012.
0.
2013.
0.
2014.
1.
Nope.
No. 0. I just thought
2015.
0.
2016.
0.
2017.
0.
2018.
1.
No.
2.
No.
0.
Yep. 2019.
0.
2020.
0.
2021.
0.
2022.
0.
2023 so far, which I'm thinking we ended the year.
0.
Yep.
0 commercial airline crashes.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Since at least 2010. That's as far back as they were showing.
Right.
And I'm assuming that was the first year in this stretch, maybe.
Right. That's pretty crazy.
Nuts.
Yeah.
That is insane. And it's one of those things
they say airline's one of the safest ways to travel.
And it's one of those things where I do not fault anybody for having a fear of literally anything. Right. And I can totally understand why you would have a fear of flying. But man, like, as somebody who has anxiety and gets anxious about things, if that doesn't help even a fraction to like lower that anxiety,
give you some security.
Yeah.
Like there are literal numbers.
Pretty crazy.
To back it up. That is pretty crazy. So to hop right into all of the everything after 16 minutes of everything else. Spencer, I'm gonna a little bit of a play acting, okay? I'm gonna say a sentence to you.
All right,
you tell
play
me
action. That means that you're faking the handoff to the running back and going to a pass.
Yeah, go wide. And I'm going to I'm gonna say a sentence to you, and you tell me how you'd react to it.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, Spencer.
Hi, Shelby.
Good 2024 so far?
Yeah, so far so good.
I for 2024, I'm trying Veganuary.
Okay. What's that?
You know, where you like eat vegan for 31 days. I don't know how many days there are in January.
There's 31.
31 days of January.
You're just eating vegan, like a vegan diet for January?
Just January.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scene over.
Anything else you want to tell me about it?
No.
Okay. All right, that's cool.
Yeah.
Best of luck.
Thanks.
Do you think you're going to be able to do it?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. Well, keep me posted. Let me know.
I ate 6 cheeseburgers on December 31st in preparation.
Nice. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Scene over. Now.
So today we're talking about the good, the bad, the ugly of, well, I'm saying January challenges, lifestyle, like challenges, whatever you want to call them. The things, you know, dry January, all that stuff that like are a small window of time. And you're just like, you're basically challenging yourself to like try something new, change something about your life, whatever that might be. This was actually your idea to talk about.
Yeah. Thought it was a good idea to talk about it because we are in the month of January and we've been talking about like New Year's revolutions and what?
The amount of words you have mixed around today.
What do you mean? What did I say? Resolutions. Where was I going with that? You started laughing at me because I said revolution.
You were saying it was your idea.
I didn't think that low-hanging fruit would be that good.
You were just saying it was your idea because it's January and we're talking about New Year's stuff.
Oh, yeah. And we kind of talked about it probably in the first episode of the year, I think, where it's like, you know, set achievable goals and stuff like that for yourself and don't get too hung up on things. And it's probably always been a thing, but I just feel like it's maybe because we're all just so much more connected that it feels like the trend of dry January. I didn't know like there was a specific vegan challenge, but makes sense.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know about that.
Really?
No.
Oh,
It doesn't surprise me, but
right.
like, and I assume there's like a trillion other
Oh,
ones.
yeah. Those are
You
the two I
know?
know the short, like the trendy
Yeah.
January name of them.
Obviously you have people who like get new gym memberships in January only to have to cancel them in March and stuff like that. So, um, yeah, I really wanted to like talk about and kind of unpack these like monthly challenge things and kind of like maybe the good, the bad, the ugly, kind of as you set it up
Yeah.
of how they work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And real quick, it's going to be no surprise that I think doing a monthly challenge, um I think just saying like I'm going to do dry January in and of itself is stupid.
Okay.
I will absolutely like this role play that we did. I will champion anybody who wants to come up and tell me that they're going to do this challenge. That's great.
Okay.
Like I think doing a challenge in an effort to try and fix or change something about your health is inherently good. But I think like so many people think that they can just say like I'm just going to do this thing and not have it committed to their head that like they're never going to or that they aren't going to like attempt to in some way keep it going.
Okay.
Right? Like, and I don't think, that being said, I don't think like dry January has to then turn into dry February and dry March and dry, but it should help you realize that after 4 fucking weeks of not drinking any alcohol, suddenly your body feels maybe a little bit better in some regards, and you're not waking up feeling like absolute shit or like projectile vomiting every other Saturday. And it should just like help you to like see like, okay, as with all things in life, everything is fine in moderation.
Right.
Right. And figuring out what that like good balance is, right? You do a nice reset and a cleanse and everything in January, and then you like slowly figure out what the right balance is.
Sure.
If you just immediately go back to whatever it was that you were doing beforehand, why did you do it in the first place? Just to participate in a trend, just to like, in that instance, it's just like I don't care. I think that's dumb. I don't, if you're not trying to, actually like learn something about yourself or to commit to in some way improving,
I know what you're saying.
kind of like whatever about it. Again, same thing with like Veganuary.
Yeah.
You start out and you're like, I'm going to do 31 days of just vegan food. And at the end of it, you're probably going to hate your life.
Why?
Because I'm assuming a person who's doing that had little to no vegan meals in their catalog, in their repertoire. They
Sure.
just did a whole Band-Aid rip.
Sure.
Which is sometimes effective.
Sure.
But it's like, okay, you're now at the end of January. Did you at least were at least half the days good? And if the answer is yes, then now your new go forward is, okay, every week, 2 meals a week, 2 dinners a week are vegan for February.
Yeah.
And once I'm feeling confident about that, March is 3.
Sure.
April's 4.
Sure.
May's 5, And like maybe you think you can work your way to being a full vegan diet and stuff, right? But I think so many people just want to be like, I did this thing.
Yeah.
I did dry January.
Fair.
And then I just made up for it in the next 11 months.
Right.
And this is how I feel about all like short-sighted health things. So like people who are like, oh, I got to get my wedding body or my beach body or something like that. It's just like, you should just always be trying to maintain this like level of good health. Because oftentimes you're actually doing more harm to yourself to try and get to this like perceived thing.
Yeah.
Weight, whatever, image. And because you just weren't consistently trying to like be at that level, you're now having to work much harder to get there, to then after said event just go back to not maintaining.
Right.
And I just have like a disdain for those things.
A disdain. Strong words.
Did I confuse that with another word?
Nope.
But does that all make sense?
You know, yeah,
Hopefully
I
that's not too
understand what
like
you're
ranty.
saying. No, I
Do you
understand what you're
disagree?
saying. I obviously see the exact situation you're describing, especially in the sense of like the wedding body, the beach body. Like those I really do like, yeah. Because I was about to say, until you gave that example, I was going to be like, do you really think the average person truly, like if they're trying this challenge, won't change anything? Like won't
I
change
don't
anything
necessarily
about
think
their
that.
life?
Well, no, I kind of do think that.
I can tell you think that.
I think the average person won't.
You think
The
they won't
average
take
person.
anything from that?
The average person. I think so many people love to like just check a box
Yeah.
and say they did a thing
Yeah.
and not actually like fully take the time to reflect on like why what they just did was like net good for them.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
But if you think most people would, like that's great, and I'm glad you have like a more positive outlook. And again, I don't really have like the idea of them the idea of like the challenges and stuff like that themselves doesn't bother me necessarily.
right.
It's just the fact that I know there are plenty of people who are doing it, like I'm saying, just to like check a box.
Sure.
Just to be able to say in February when they may look a little different because they just spent a whole month not drinking.
Right.
And people are like, wow, you look great. And they're just like, oh, well, it's because I did DryJanuary. And then in March, they look like shit again. You know?
Yeah. I guess I see what you're saying.
But again, if people are making a concentrated effort, that's why I think these things aren't inherently bad.
Right.
That's why I think these things are actually probably good. That's why I think I literally using January is effective because I made the commitment 4 or 5 years ago to not drink soda anymore.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was longer than that. Sophomore year of college.
Mm-hmm.
So 2017, 2016, 2017, 2017. 2015 to 2016, 2016, 2017. Yeah, January 1st, 2017. I said I wasn't going to drink soda anymore.
Yeah.
And I have maintained that.
You have?
Like, I will now occasionally treat myself with a soda. And that's an attempt because I'm rubber banding back from not just trying to have alcohol.
Right.
Right? Like, if we have alcohol on hand, I'm drinking that. And I think it's better, technically, to just have soda on hand and destroy my body with that. Because eventually I know I can get back to a state where I just stop drinking soda again.
I mean, you say that like you're drinking one or the other like every night.
If we have those like glass Cokes,
mm-hmm.
or if we have Angry Orchard in that fridge,
mm-hmm.
I am probably having one a night. Probably.
Gotcha.
Probably.
Right.
It's one of those things
where it's like,
where
it's there.
I just drink water all day.
Yeah.
Or coffee, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I just want something a little sweet.
Yeah.
A little, like, that's all the alcohol I drink is all sweet stuff anyway. So I know the effect of it is positive and can absolutely, and like, I'm sure there's science behind, you know, forcing yourself to do something that's semi-trendy. If you do it for a full month, it's liable to stick.
Yeah.
You know? To your point, like, do you really think? Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, maybe more often than not, people are taking something from it. Hopefully, at least one vegan meal a week.
Right. I personally.
But I also think. Sorry, I also think the bad of it is, as soon as you fail one time,
right,
you've just now ruined your new year.
Yeah, I think that's more a commentary on either bad goal setting or.
But that it's an entire month of trying to do something.
Sure.
And when you're so gung ho and you're like, January 1st, I'm going to do this.
Sure.
And it's January 7th, and you feel malnourished because you don't know how to properly get protein as a vegan.
Right. I multiple thoughts. It's like really hard to find like numbers on stuff like this.
I imagine it's near impossible.
It is pretty much near impossible.
People aren't going to self-report when they fail.
There's also like when you're looking up numbers, it's going to mostly just be about like New Year's resolutions as a whole, not really like these short-term challenges. Because like you said, I doubt they're new, but they're definitely being like talked about more than ever.
Definitely.
So, but I mean, there's the whole like, not that this I like perfectly matches, but there's the whole like, it takes 21 days to build a habit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that whole logic is, I think, what helps the short-term challenges have a foothold, because you're one, just like, say you're doing a total change. Like you're like, I'm going vegan, which I would argue you, one, shouldn't apply pressure to yourself without good knowledge and understanding and a plan, especially if you aren't used to cooking or eating that way.
But do you think most people are taking the proper time to like?
Well, I think of it as, if you try a challenge,
can't be hard.
If you try a challenge and you go in knowing nothing, you are probably increasing your chances of failing. But you're also in a pure experimental phase. Like it's pure, like, let's see what happens. And I think you have to approach it that way. And in my opinion, the viewpoint would be, hopefully you gain something from it. Maybe not a win, but at least knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can, whether you then, maybe you truly elect to do nothing about it for 11 months. And then January 1, 2025 comes around. And you're like, you know what? I did this last year. And I know that you're saying that's literally the thing you hate. And I get it. But humans are dumb as shit. And we sometimes need to be literally beat over the head with something to finally be like, you know what? This time I'm actually going to do it. And It could take someone 8 years of poorly doing Veganuary to finally be like, you know what? I think I could go half my diet being vegan, like every day. Every day.
But all I'm saying is, I think there's a better path to getting there.
Sure.
Than just thinking, it's January, this is the only time I can do it.
Oh, I totally agree with that.
And again, it's the idea that like in January, when you do these January challenges, and to your point, if you don't do the research and stuff, you are simply ripping a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
And saying, I'm not allowed to say ow.
Right. Again.
And that's really hard to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
How many Band-Aids have you ripped off?
Like none.
And how many times have you said ow?
Like a lot. Today, 5 times alone.
When you fell down the stairs.
When I fell down the stairs. So yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say it's the most foolproof way to test something, but also because of these challenges, this time of year, I've seen that like companies are pushing more like vegan options. Like it's also encouraging conversations around these challenges. It's encouraging conversations around being vegan, around being dry.
We should have those conversations.
I agree, but again, we're
any
dumb.
Time of year.
But again, we're dumb.
That's
dumb.
Weaponized incompetence. I'm a man. I'm allowed to use that. You're not allowed to give that to the population as a whole.
I'm saying, instead of just being mad at the existence of them, which I know you're not, but mad at how they might be used, think of how they can be used for good, like the good that might come out of them.
And that's fine. And like any conversation is better than no conversation. But to do a big fucking stretch, that's like saying like Black History Month.
Sure.
We only care for 1 month.
There's definitely a lot of showmanship around it.
And then that's it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, no, we should have these conversations all throughout the year.
Right. No, that's valid.
Pride Month.
Right.
We only care. We only change our profile pictures to a pride flag for 1 month.
Right.
And as soon it's June, right?
I now don't remember if it's June or July.
I think it's June. And then as soon as July 1st comes around, take that rainbow flag out, get it out of here. So I'm
definitely
hear you.
Not saying
any
wrong.
Conversation is better than no conversation. 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
However, these are conversations that like we shouldn't feel like, well, it's no longer January. Shouldn't be talking about it anymore.
Right. 100%. I agree.
Back to just slaughtering animals willy-nilly.
I do agree. 100%. Yeah, I don't know. I've seen a lot more. I think people are starting to have a much, at least from my point of view on the internet, a much healthier approach to these, in that someone I watch on YouTube a lot, Lena Norms, big fan. She has been, if I understand correctly, vegetarian for like 3 years now, and is constantly attempting to move closer to a vegan diet, which again, not everyone can achieve 100% vegan diet for whatever reason.
And just to be clear, the difference. Vegan is no animal products.
Correct.
Vegetarian is like you can still eat cheese.
It depends on the person, but yeah, generally that you'd be cool with milk and cheese and
eggs.
Some people have mixed feelings. That comes down to the individual.
Yeah.
But you're not eating direct
Probably comes down to how you feel about abortion.
You're not eating meats is obviously the biggest difference.
You can't just move on from that.
I'm absolutely just moving on from that.
That was an astute observation.
So
come on.
So it's been a process.
No,
and
I just saw something that apparently honey isn't considered vegan.
I mean, it's animal product.
But it's animal waste.
But it's animal product.
But it's literal waste.
Yeah. But it's not considered vegan.
But it's literal waste.
Yeah.
That seems so counterintuitive.
I do think there can still be like personal.
Oh yeah, you can do whatever the
things.
fuck you want.
Yeah.
I'm a Presbyterian.
Like
I
honestly,
only eat fish.
Fucking hate you. The biggest impacts are obviously meat, and then probably second would be like cheese.
Yeah.
If we're talking environmental.
Dairy.
Yeah.
I would say most dairy products in general.
Obviously, if you're talking also ethical, then that's where it comes in the stance of just not wanting any animal product.
Doesn't that seem super counterintuitive to like so you're telling me like a vegan wouldn't want to use like manure to help promote healthy soil for their crops?
I'm assuming no, which I know you're gonna say then is.
Isn't that crazy though? Isn't that like a little counterintuitive? Like you're now just trying to utilize all resources,
right?
Like
sure.
You're trying to use all waste and like byproduct and stuff like that, and trying to ensure nothing is wasted.
Sure. I'm sure there are vegans who eat honey. I don't know where that line is drawn for some people.
I mean, again, it's you make up your own rules and stuff. Yeah. But when it comes to like the general playbook, I would say
it's not considered a vegan
seems
product.
that one I vehemently disagree with. I will be lobbying against it because I'm participating in Veganuary because I've only been eating honey.
Anyway, so Lena Norms posted a video about Veganuary for 2024 and basically was like, it can be really hard to fully do this. So she's calling it like half-assing or half-arsing it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like blowing up because I think that is the opinion we should be like taking in a lot of stances is the like, what are actual applicable changes you can make for anything? I mean, I know I'm focusing on Veganuary. I truly mean this for anything.
No,
but it's where I can think of words.
But it's literally like, how do you train to run a marathon? You don't just wake up and run 26.2 miles.
Yeah, whatever.
Right?
Right.
Like you don't just, is it miles or kilometers? It's kilometers. 13.1 miles, right? What is it?
Dude.
I don't know.
Who
cares? Who runs?
Who runs?
Nobody runs.
Nobody runs.
Athletes don't even run.
Yeah, it's about,
And that goes back to what we were saying.
Yes.
Literally the first episode this year was just like,
yes.
just set achievable goals. Make sure you're doing stuff that you know you can do. And like, that's how you're going to have a positive. And if that was the general idea behind these challenges was like, oh, dry January is you try to only have, what's a normal amount of alcohol that somebody would drink?
No idea.
You try to only have 2 Miller Lights a day. For the first week, and then you try to only have one a day, and then you try to have one every other day, and then you try to have none the final week. You know, and you like set it up like in these like benchmarky type ways.
Sure.
I'm curious.
Or there's like other ways of doing that where it's like, oh, I'm just going to elect to not have any alcohol in the house, and I, normally in my life I only go out on like 1 night, 2 nights a week, and then I'll let myself get a drink.
Wow, you're really putting us on blast. Most people go out 7 times a week, Shelby.
Definitely not. No one goes out 7 times a week.
A lot of people go out 7 times a week. How did she how did Lena attempt to like like you said, half-assed, but like how did she try to make it a much more achievable way of doing
She basically
Veganuary?
presented different manners of like electing to be vegan.
Like politeness.
So it was like, if you if this is manageable for you, when you go to eat out, seek out the vegan option on the menu. Like support the vegan option at restaurants. Eat only vegan for breakfast, because breakfast is a very easy, non-committal, like around the globe isn't really like generally of any significance. You could probably eat whatever you want for breakfast and no one's going to bat an eye. And it's a really easy change. And then a third of all your meals, if you eat breakfast every day, are vegan.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a super easy thing to do. You could obviously like only the snacks in your, if you don't seemingly have control over every meal option, only the snacks in your house that you eat are vegan. Like all shit like that. It's like selecting, and I can't remember, like obviously she gave a bunch of options that were all like that. Like sure, call it Veganuary, but like try implementing it in a very like reasonable manner. And sure, maybe
great.
you can challenge yourself a bit. Like, ooh, I'm not used to doing this, but like at least it's one category versus breaking down everything you do.
Also, I think doing something like that definitely sets you up for better long-term success.
Absolutely. Because I mean this was years ago, but I feel like being vegan, of course, was mostly a online joke because everyone was making fun of vegans, but it was becoming
we
more
still do.
It was becoming more talked about, like being vegan. And when I tell you, like I saw people who were like, oh my god, thank god flaming hot Cheetos are vegan, and would eat like 8 bags because they were like, this is vegan. And I'm like, being vegan doesn't inherently mean healthy.
No, it means you're annoying.
It means like I have seen people be vegan and eat like absolute dog shit. Like that's not really the point.
Because it just checks a box.
Because it checks the box.
Which I think, generally speaking, being vegan is an attempt to promote a much healthier eating and stuff like that. Am I crazy?
I think as a whole, yes. Also, not.
You think as a whole I'm crazy?
Yes.
Or as a whole, that is what vegan is trying to promote?
Yes.
Right. Like the idea isn't to try and skirt the line of being vegan, and if you do that, you're a piece of shit.
Not in my opinion. No, I think it should be about generally eating healthier, and also it's literally better for everyone. Like if studies have shown like meat isn't good for us, like dairy isn't good for us. Like again, you can bleed like in moderation, but like plenty of us are past moderation.
Oh,
like
100%.
So many of us are. The average person is past moderation, especially in like the United States. Like we eat way too much of that stuff.
Is chicken bad for us? I thought chicken was good.
Chicken's deemed better than most options. That's why they tell you to like avoid red meat.
Yeah, well, yeah. So I thought it was like red meat, and then specifically to like pile on and dog pile on cows. Them in general, their existence in general is just not good, because it's like
it's a lot. Yeah,
literally anything that comes from a cow,
right,
tends to not be good for us.
Right.
Cheese.
Also,
milk.
Like not good for us, and like there's been tons of studies that environmentally speaking,
cow farts,
lowering our meat and animal product intake could have the biggest impact on the world. What? I did want to say though, obviously I think go-to things in a very reasonable mindset, like very reasonable, actionable plan. But I also come from the age of YouTube, of people being like, I'm going to try this out. Like from the YouTube accounts who are like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take cold showers for a month. I'm going to do this for a month.
I'm going, yeah.
And there's something, and I know those aren't the average person tests. Those are true. One, kind of a little crazy. Because why not?
They're literally for content.
They're literally for content. And obviously I'm aware of that. But I can't argue that I find something very appealing to a very small sample size, but a measurable time period. So it doesn't feel endless. Like sometimes a resolution can, like, especially if you way overshoot what you're doing, you're there for 365 days. That's a really fucking long time. 30 days? Sure, can feel like a long time if you set yourself up for a crazy thing, but it's only 30 days.
Gotcha.
So in some ways,
like 100 platinums in a year.
Crazy. So in some ways,
we're here for 365, baby.
I find it very appealing to do a very shorthand, maybe crazy challenge, just because one, why not? You're changing something up. You're forcing yourself to look at something differently. It can be anything from like, People encourage you to do like a no spend month so that you become super aware of where your money would normally be going. If you have a hard time, like, oh, I should just sit down and look at my bank statements. If that literally gives you like a fucking anxiety attack, one, maybe go therapy. Two, like doing a no spend, you literally have to be like, wait, I'm not spending money on random stuff, so I'm not going to Target today. But I know if I would have gone to Target, I would have blown $130 without even thinking about it. Like doing that, you don't need to do something crazy to sort of shock your system, change how you do your normal day to day, and start like give you something to look at and start thinking about. You know what I mean? Like I do find that concept very appealing, and I can see the positive for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I obviously, again, for the average person, I can see it, the true like 30 days, this is what I'm doing, especially the whole Jan 1 thing. Like we're all excited because it feels like a new page in life. And I get that and I feel that. But also there is so much extra pressure then that like this year I decided to do nothing, basically. I was like, I'm not really aiming for like any crazy stretch goal or anything. I basically was like, more of what I did last year is what I want to do this year. Like, that's not a goal. Like, it's not measurable. But like, you know, it's January 7th or whatever. And I'm sitting here like, haven't really done much of anything.
Real quick, it is measurable, I would say, because goals like that are sometimes the best, because if you can get to the end of the year and say that you're happy with the year that you had,
sure,
you nailed it. Like,
and
you
obviously
achieved your goal.
That's all I'm aiming for. Like I'm not in a time right now where I'm aiming for anything super specific. So like I am fine with that. But I hit like, you know, January 5th, January 6th, and I'm like, wow, like all these people are like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing that. And you do start
like
to get a little bit of FOMO. And truly you can do the 30 day, the appealing part of the 30 day is if you need that day one of something, you can choose any fucking month. Like in theory.
Yeah.
Like who can, I just do think it can be a great jump starter as an idea.
Yeah, I mean, I think if they lead to actual change,
Yeah.
then bully for you. You did it. Good job. I just don't think most people, maybe I'm just pessimistic, I just don't think most people view it like that. I feel like most people view it as, if I can do this one thing for 1 month, then that makes me, you know, I got 10 points added to my
10 points to Gryffindor.
Yeah, to send me to the good place.
Sure.
And then again, they don't actually make an actual effort.
Yeah.
So
maybe.
I love how Lena set up Veganuary, because that is you could stop after January and say, I'm not doing this, and you know, so be it.
Or you could tack on a different kind of vegan come February.
Right.
Like January I was a breakfast vegan. February I'm a snack vegan and breakfast vegan. Like you can choose, like, and again, I literally think that can be applied to so many things. Like we literally set a goal to like walk daily. It's a very loose goal, but it's like we look outside and we're like, let's just go outside for a little bit. And again, these are all just like not everything needs to be this giant actionable thing. Like it's, if that is what motivates you as a person, I think that's the biggest thing, is you need to know what motivates you as a person. I am overwhelmed by giant, daunting, like long-term things. I like short,
like 100 platinums.
Easy. I like a short time period if it's big. And if it's loose, I'm fine to just be like, I'm not going to hate myself. If it does, like yesterday, it was absolutely miserable outside.
Right.
And it's not like we have a dog, so we don't have to go outside if we don't want to. So you know what? I'm not fucking going outside, because it's just like not worth it to be like, yes, every day I did. Like that isn't what excites me. Maybe to other people that is. To
piggyback off of that, going outside is like, I only want to go outside when it's going to actually be enjoyable.
Right.
Not like the simple stepping out my door doesn't make me happy.
Right. Exactly.
It does not automatically bring me joy.
Exactly.
I will say that going for a walk when it is clear weather, and doing the loop that we do,
it feels good. You notice you feel good.
Refreshes your mind a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I do that same walk in the rain,
miserable.
I'm miserable.
Yeah, I don't want to do it.
I'm miserable because I left my apartment, and I'm miserable because I'm wet.
Right. And there's not really a reason to be out there.
I like to be dry.
But yeah, so it's like, again, I think you need to know what motivates you is genuinely step one. And if you don't, try a bunch of shit and don't get mad if they don't work out. Try the 30 days. Try,
Yeah, but all I'll say to that is like make sure like be committed to it.
Yeah.
Like anything that you like only put half an attempt in, you can only expect so much out.
True.
So like make sure you're genuinely committed to trying to do this, whatever this thing is.
Right.
If you're going to do it.
Right.
Otherwise you're just asking to kind of tear yourself down.
Sure.
I think we need a lot less of that.
Yes.
I think we need to put. I think we need a lot less like pressure on ourselves.
Yes.
And that's like just again, that's another reason why I just don't love these. Do it.
Yeah, I agree.
Challenges.
Again, I think as much as January 1 can be the big exciting motivator, I think it also can be the biggest inhibitor to feeling content.
Right.
Over whatever.
Right. It feels like in January you can't just be happy that you are where you're at.
Yeah. Like I literally said yesterday.
What are you doing?
January, I am fully leaning into cat energy of just like, just gonna chill.
But like, what are you doing?
Fucking nothing.
What are you achieving?
Nothing.
I went to the gym. And it's like, cool, Betsy, but you're not going to be at the gym in 3 weeks.
I'll still be here on the sofa.
Not a damn thing is going to have changed. And if it has, it's probably for the better for me.
But yeah, so that was it. I genuinely do recommend. One, I'm obsessed with Lena Norms as a whole.
She's great.
She is really great. So
I
sometimes
enjoy.
Spencer watches the videos with me because I find them so interesting and just
generally
very insightful.
And she's generally a very positive like person and puts out a very positive message and energy.
Yeah.
And I think like again, I think we just need more of that.
Absolutely. So definitely go look her up on she's on all social platforms at Lena Norms, but YouTube is obviously like her main, like that's where you're gonna see the video content. And genuinely if you're even mildly interested in like small challenges or Veganuary as a whole, like watch her. I think it's literally called Forget Veganuary. But it's like blowing up right now, which is great because I think it's a really appropriate way of approaching like big life changes and stuff like that. So obviously, if you have any thoughts, let us know if you're doing any challenges, if you've tried challenges.
That's the thing I think I'm most interested in is like what else is there, because
I know we definitely kept it very tight to like dry and vegan and a little bit on working out. But there's definitely, I mean, literally anything you want to do in life. Literally training for a marathon, which would lean towards working out, but shit like that.
Yeah, but training for a marathon, again, is so different because that's not, like the whole like couch to 5K.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
But even that isn't like, couch to 5K doesn't literally mean that January 1, you're running a 5K.
Right.
Like that's a staggered approach.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was going to say, like, I'm curious if there is any workout thing specifically that isn't a staggered approach, because I feel like almost every workout thing, whether achievable or not, generally is like
it does build you up.
Do 5, do 10, do 15, do 20, do
I do
20,
agree.
do 20, do 25.
I don't know enough about like very trendy workout.
Well, right. So that's what I'm
saying.
I'm curious to see like what other challenges are out there.
Yeah.
And yeah, if anybody's partaking in them,
let us know.
And let us know how they're going.
Yeah, feel free to comment.
This will be about halfway through the month. So
yeah,
definitely let us know like where you're at.
And you can either comment at SMSoup Podcast on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube, or you can message us on our personals, which are always in the show description if you wish to see those. Somewhere in the screen at the beginning of the episode and then down in the description. Anyway, I'm assuming, I was literally about to ask this, would you ever do a challenge? I'm assuming the answer would be probably not. Like, would you do, I don't know what challenge, but would you ever do a 30-day?
Yeah, I think I would.
Yeah.
Again, because I have enough trust in myself that I would hopefully be attempting to do it in such a way that I'm like hoping to have a prolonged change beyond just that challenge.
Sure.
I don't know if I necessarily need anything that's like...
No, I know. I couldn't sit here and tell you what...
Concrete.
Yeah.
And I think I would also try and set it up in such a way that it's not just I would try and do like a staggered approach where it's
Yeah.
like the 30-day challenge is to get to this point by day 30.
days, yeah.
And then how long can I keep that going?
Yeah.
Basically. But yeah, I would absolutely do something like that because I think generally speaking, these can be very, very effective.
Yes.
I just worry that most people don't put their heart in it.
Sure. I get that.
What about you? I'm assuming you would.
I would.
Yeah.
I would try something so unreachable and stupid.
Yes, exactly. You're the problem.
I don't know what. I mean, but I would like be interested and probably like, I don't know. I'd reflect and then I'd go back to being lazy.
Can I start a challenge?
What challenge?
The challenge is that you can't get annoyed with my dumb little comments
Am I
during the
allowed
podcast.
to keep ignoring them?
No.
No.
You have to acknowledge
I'm
them
gonna fail.
and giggle.
You have to.
You
I'm
have
literally
to
gonna
giggle.
go, Spencer, I'm acknowledging you.
I'd be fine with that.
That would be so annoying.
I'd be like,
for
okay, well, at least she
everyone.
heard it. At least I know she heard it. She did not like that one. Put that one in my back pocket.
That was definitely a bad laugh. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Our next 2 episodes are around a little bit of, actually, next week, you're going to hear our exact item count of everything we own.
What?
And I know you're probably like, why the hell would anyone want to know that? But I think you want to know it. And you should come and find out who owns more clothing, who owns more hobby collectible stuff. I don't even know those answers
Who
yet.
owns more video games?
Who owns more video games? We're gonna, talk about that and a little bit of just general cycles of owning stuff and consumerism and decluttering and blah 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 blah. So we'll see you then.
Well, that'll be.
Well, they're all gonna tie together for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It'll be a big, not quite a twofer, but it'll connect.
Yeah.
If you want to hear all of our thoughts. So, thank you all for being here. Please feel free to rate or whatever the hell the app tells you to do that you're on. We should be available on all platforms. Video is on Spotify because now Spotify, it's been allowing that for a while, but our video is on Spotify if you're a video person, or we're on YouTube, like I said previously at SMSoup Podcast. So thank you all again, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Oh my God.